When Jung Gi said this, he absolutely destroyed my confidence in art making videos, making me a lot more skeptical when listening to art advice. If you have been around this art and drawing space for any length of time, you have probably heard at least one video from an art YouTuber talking about the importance and advantages of using a pen or an ink medium over using a pencil when learning art. And the explanations have seemed to make so much sense that nowadays, using a pen over the pencil has basically become standard advice. Proponents of this advice point to a long list of advantages that can be had by drawing with a permanent medium like ink. They also point to other legendary artists like Jung Gi and Peter Han, who not only use a lot of ink in their work, but also recommend that beginners start in this way. Or, at least, that is what we were led to believe. Here's where everything started to fall apart for me. I was listening to a Jung Gi live stream, and a viewer commented that when they use a pencil, they get this weird confidence. The translator doesn't finish the question, but here's the interaction.
When I use a pencil, I get this weird confidence, which is not. 연필로 쓸 때 더 자신감 있게 그릴 수 있는데 펜으로만 그리면 안 그렇다고. 그냥 이게 마음가짐의 차이일까요?
그렇죠. 처음엔 다 그래요. 그 약간 연필은 보통 우리 생각에 수정할 수 있다는 그 밑밥이 깔려 있지 않습니까? 그리고 또 많이 써왔다는 안정적인 게 좀 깔려 있어요.
그러니까요.
근데 이것도 따지고 보면 많이 쓰다 보면은 여러분 똑같아요. 그냥 스케치 안 하고 그냥 바로바로 그리다 보면 똑같은 위치니까요. 뭐 그런 거에 대해서 스트레스 가질 필요 없고, 그런 거 차이나 그런 거보다는 그냥 연필 스케치 꼼꼼히 하셔가지고 그리는 게 훨씬 낫습니다.
Jung Gi said that it is really a problem of mindset. It is not really a tool issue. And Jung Gi says that it is normal that we feel more at ease when we are using pencil because we know that even we make any mistakes, we are going to be able to fix it. So it is normal to feel more confident and more at ease when using pencil. And Jung Gi also said that when the time goes by, you'll feel confident with the pen too when you have practiced a lot. So it is really a problem of mindset. And Jung Gi.
So far, this sounds like the YouTubers are correct. It is just a mindset issue that you have to get past in order to reap the benefits of using ink. And maybe this is where everyone stopped watching, but what he says next begins to change the narrative.
Mindset, and Jung Gi said that even under all the circumstances, Jung Gi thinks that it is always better to practice a lot with a pencil, to give more, to add more details, to add as much as details you can with a pencil.
Jung Gi says under all circumstances, it is better to practice a lot with a pencil. That is a very definitive statement, and more importantly, it seems to be the exact opposite advice from what we have seen here on YouTube. But he doesn't even stop there. He goes further.
왜 괜히 바로 그리려고 그러세요? 그렇게 그리지 마시고 그냥 평소대로 그냥 연필 스케치 하시고 그렇게 해서 그리시면 돼요.
Jung Gi really doesn't understand why people try to draw with pens directly on paper without any sketches, because you could just go on as you're doing right now at the moment to practice with pencil.
Wow. So instead of being stressed out with a pen, you could have just practiced the same thing with a pencil. That's crazy. Okay, let's calm down, because while this is earth-shattering coming from Jung Gi, it should have been obvious all along. All you had to do was use a pencil like a pen. You think about what you're going to draw first, you put down one line, and then you don't erase it. It's actually that simple. But if you think I was putting all my eggs in one basket, I decided to check back and see what Peter Han has to say about pens versus pencils. If there is anyone that is probably credited with this advice in using ink, Peter Han is the first name that comes to mind. If you didn't encounter this from Peter Han, you probably heard it from the popular Draw Box course, which happens to be based on Peter Han and the training he received. So, what does Peter Han have to say? Well, again, I was a little bit surprised at what I heard. It's not quite what I remember hearing before. Let's listen to his advice in this Proco video.
The dynamic sketching class forced me to use felt tip pen. We weren't allowed to use ballpoint or pencil. And the reason why is because we're trying to build confidence in our line. The felt tip pen forces you to do that because you have to commit to the pen. It's scary, yes, but the idea here is that we're repeating over and over again. So through your repetition, you become familiar with the tool, you become familiar with the subject matter. Your confidence builds, then this becomes easier to use. That mindset and that tool use translated over directly to the brush pen. Now this is just physical manipulation. Sensitivity of touch, speed, pressure. That's just time. But you have to start now. There's no point in which you're gonna feel like, hey, I've drawn with this kind of pen enough, now I'm ready to use this. There's not gonna be a moment of time for your brain to tell you this. You just have to just try, because you don't know. Best time to do it is when you're curious. You've asked a question, you're curious, play with the tool, right?
The time to try it is when you're curious about it. You know, when you listen to him, he's not quite as dogmatic as I remember on this point. He seems, in fact, to echo a lot of the things that Jung Gi said. It's a mindset thing. You will get more comfortable with it over time. But his advice does not make the pen sound quite like the miracle tool that many have made it out to be. So what in the world is going on here? It seems clear from the comments from Peter Han and Jung Gi that their advice is designed to achieve a specific goal. Jung Gi wants people to use pencil because he says it helps people draw more details, and details are something that are important in his drawings. Peter Han says use a pen as it will help with line confidence. And you should do it when you're curious about it. The tricky thing is, both of these can be correct. So, how do you really know what advice is right for you? It could be that at some point, you as an artist will have to figure things out for yourself. You will have to cut your own path. At some point, you will have to determine what advice works for you, what you like, what you don't like. All we can do as YouTube artists and hobbyists, like myself, is give examples of what seems to be working for us. But this may not always be the most optimal path for everyone, or even for ourselves. So what do you think? Help me out. How do we as artists know what to do next? And where should we be going for art advice? When everyone, including professional artists, are all giving different advice that may seem even contradictory on the surface, what do you do? I look forward to hearing your responses in the comments section, as this seems like a great discussion to have with the knowledgeable people in my audience. I will see you in the next video.